Hello, everyone, and welcome in to the Oceanside Ice Arena press box. I'm Brett Vaughn, and we welcome you to the presentation of Arizona State ACHA Division I men's ice hockey as Arizona State is hosting on the second game of a back-to-back the number 14th ranked University of Oklahoma Sooners. We were treated to a great game last night as both teams came back and ended up going into a shootout where it ended up being the Sooners winning 5-4, and it was the Sooners having the lead for the majority of the game, but as Arizona State coming back late in the third period that then produced an exciting overtime period and then the shootout. As I welcome in my partner Niall Cooper inside the box. Niall, we were treated again to a great game last night, and for both teams this is their third game of the weekend, and coming off the break we're going to see who's going to be the more mentally and even physically fit.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting game to see where both teams lie because, like you said, third game of the weekend for both teams and a lot of travel for the Sooners. You know, they're in the midst of a bit of a road trip. Even when they head back home, they're going to be playing Arkansas on the road. They came down here to Arizona, had to play in Tucson, now up to Tempe, and it was a tough effort for both teams. They left a lot out on the ice last night, and it'll be interesting to see who can bring it from the start and who's going to take a little bit to find their legs.
As well as both teams, due to injuries, are going to be missing some guys and lines are going to be jumbled up. It's going to be interesting to see how both of those teams deal with it.
Yeah, on the Sooner side of things, they're going to be missing 2 players tonight, and we saw 2 new players injected last night just for a change of pace. Tonight, we're going to see 2 new players injected as a result of injury, and the Sooners had all that they could handle from Arizona State last night, so it's going to take something from their leadership group to bring it to another level tonight to secure that 2-0 road swing over Arizona State. For the Sun Devils, they're going to be missing a player due to suspension. Yager Larson, he will not be in the lineup tonight. We have Timothy Hoffenkamp coming back into the lineup after being sick and missing last night's action, and he's going to bring a bit of an element of a big power forward, some speed, some size, some hands, a little bit of everything. And I'm excited to see what he can bring on the ice because he's the kind of player that's going to give Oklahoma fits tonight.
Well, folks, if it's anything like the game last night, we're in for another treat here in Tempe, Arizona. We'll be back for Puck Drop in just under a couple minutes on Arizona State Hockey YouTube channel. Hello everyone and welcome inside Oceanside Ice Arena in Tempe, Arizona. I am Brett Vaughn alongside with my partner Now Cooper, and for the Sun Devils' third game of the weekend as they host number 14th ranked University of Oklahoma Sooners. And we'll get you ready for tonight's game with tonight's starting goaltenders, brought to you by Ice Time Hockey Southwest. For the Sooners, it's going to be, again, number 35, Phil Babb. Babb with a great performance last night, ending up winning the game in a shootout for the Sooners. And for the Sun Devils, it's going to be the familiar face of number 1, Bronson Moore. Moore coming in, he took the night off as Joshua George put in a sterling performance backing him up. And you can sense he's maybe feeling a little bit of the pressure and wants to bring his A-game tonight. As a puck has dropped and we are underway. Sooners will control it at the start of this period. It'll come to Raymond Wilson. Wilson finds a shooter right through the middle. More of the shot. They score! Just 11 seconds in, and the Sooners regrouping with speed through the middle. And the shot from D'Souza gets cleaned up in front. And the Sooners take the 1-0 lead from Evan Del Cassell.
And Brett, we saw a fired up D'Souza last night in the shootout when he went up for the Sooners. We saw it all night. He was a real spark plug for them, got underneath the skin of Arizona State, and his skating along with the two forwards alongside him really provided a quick start, obviously, for the Sooners as they really caught Arizona State on their heels.
Sooners looking like they're the team quick out from the jump tonight. Zachary Kowalczyk plays it D to his partner Bradley Budman. Gavin Klein will deflect that in to the offensive zone. Del Cassell, he'll flip it out. D'Souza chopping at the puck, and he elects to go for the change. He'll come out to Pard. Pard trying to center that for Beam, his winger. He has to retrieve now in the offensive zone. Eric Cotton trying to settle that puck down, and the errant pass will go all the way down for an icing.
And Brett, a little demoralizing of a start right now for Arizona State. They gave all they had to come back last night. It took an amazing third period comeback, plus late in the second. And to get off to a start like they have, a minute in, down 1-0 in the last game of this homestand where they've already dropped 2, that's going to be hard to come back from.
Point shot that time from Giamona, misses wide. Isaac Boss pinching in for the Sooners. He'll throw down Kowalczyk. Wiggins pokes it out into the neutral zone. Zachary Pard on his forehand on the left side, trying to get around Kowalczyk. Kowalczyk keeps him at bay. Gavin Klein eats the check from Beam. Sooners trying to pin the Sun Devils in their own end. Budman with a hard rim around. Might have had a little too much power on it. It's going to end up going for another icing call. An early opportunity for the Sooners to get a fresh line out.
No change for the Sun Devils. As Wiggins with a little bit of gamesmanship coming back late, trying to get those extra couple seconds of rest. And it works out for Wiggins as he just gets a stick on that shot all the way down, rims down, no icing. Arizona State can get a change. The Sooners bring it up. Lara, he takes a check, loses the puck, and it's dumped in deep.
Collecting that is Lazaric in his own zone for the Sooners. Lazaric having trouble getting it out as Maxwell Elizadeh on the forecheck for the Sun Devils. Studioso the third tries to play it back behind, and that puck's settling right in front of the Arizona State bench. Another errant pass is going to lead to an icing, and the Sun Devils haven't been really clean coming out of their own zone. If you're just joining us, 17:38 in this first period, and the Sooners scored 11 seconds into the game, courtesy of Del Cassell putting home the rebound from the shot from Paulo D'Souza. Draws one by the Sun Devils, a hard rim by Studioso. finds Elizade. Elizade just does just enough to get that in neutral zone. The Sooners are going to have to touch up on the delayed offside. Number 3, Colin Markowski, took a hit. That's one of the new additions for the Sooners tonight. Up to the point, he beaver tails it, gets it right back. The point shot on, and Joy couldn't get a stick on it. And that's going to allow the Sun Devils to get a forward change with some tired men out there. That puck goes out of play by Ivan Boss. With the particularly low ceiling at Oceanside Ice Arena. Draw one by Levi Holston. The defense plays it up in their own net. And it looks like it's going to be another icing call as Jack Callahan was trying to find the stick of Demon, but he didn't gain the red line.
Safe to say Arizona State's clutching their sticks a little too tightly right now, Brett. You can tell everyone's a little on edge after that rough start. You expected something special coming out of the lineup tonight after the inspired effort they gave last night, but we just haven't been able to see any of that materialize.
Got one, Del Cassell with the wrist shot on. That'll miss a little high. Sullivan could have get it out as that was pinched in by Giamona. Sun Devils try to go to the other side again, clear it out. Finally does by Demon on a soft chip. Could be a 2-on-1 opportunity. Sullivan centers it in front and just behind Levi Holston. It was a tape-to-tape pass. He would have been able to pull the trigger. Raymond Wilson now for the Sooners. Del Cassell, a weak backhand shot on. Won't miss. And Jack York has mans a puck out of reach of Gavin Klein, and he'll beat out the icing call and force the goaltender Babb to have to play it. Del Cassell, a hard chip, and again goes off the ceiling at the ice arena with 16:08 in this first period.
Pardon me, jump in there, but that's effectively an icing call for Arizona State. The closest thing they've had to any momentum or a chance to take momentum in this game. No change for Oklahoma on this play. Offensive zone draw. And although they weren't able to take anything with that draw, I like being able to take it from the faceoff and try to make a move to the net right away. That's going to put the D on their toes, keep the wingers in check, and that'll allow on the second opportunity to do just this, win it back to the point and get a shot.
Up to the point, Kowalczuk's shot couldn't get through as that was Zachary Pard with the kick save as a puck floats out of play.
And I think we do have to say, Brett, the Oklahoma fans travel pretty well. I even saw a few playing some cornhole and having a good time out front before we got started tonight.
Sooners in their own zone. Aaron breakout pass, and Lazaric will clean it up the mess. Another new addition, Kevin Moran from Clifton, Virginia, out there for the Sooners on this shift. As we get through, Moran will dump it in deep. Moore's forced to make a save. And it'll be ricocheted up now to the neutral zone. Isaac Boss, coming off the bench, is able to hustle and get to that puck. Michael Beam fighting off the check from Jake Ely. Puck gets stuck on his skates, and Geely clears it to the neutral. Sooners trying to slow it down and get an organized breakout. Luke White has ice in front of him. White takes on his forehand side, wheels around the offensive zone. White sends it in front. Giamona was trying to pull the trigger and looked like the net just came off its moorings and got whistled down.
Interestingly enough, Brett, we haven't seen Oklahoma take advantage of the hot start they got when they put the Sun Devils on their heels. They really haven't been able to use that momentum to their advantage yet, which could prove to allow a foothold for the Sun Devils to get back in this.
Kowalczuk trying to hustle out, trying to get that hard board pass off. Couldn't get to there. Timothy Hoffenkamp for Arizona State back in the lineup is out there for checking. Eric Cotton intercepts in the neutral zone, trying to glove it down. And that clear ends up going to the Oklahoma bench, and we'll have a face-off out in the neutral zone dot. Palumbo wins the draw 4, but forfeits possession away. Austin Palumbo, another Mr. 100 as he's playing his 100th ACHA career game tonight for the Sun Devils after we had Zachary Kowalchuk last night. York, Aaron pass, trying to evade the forecheck of the Sooners, unable to. Maxwell Elizade comes out the other side with it. Elizade with speed, tracking in a tight turnaround, tries to play it up to the point, a little too weak. And it looks like we're gonna have a hooking call as Aaron Lara was water skiing with Austin Palumbo, and he's gonna be going to the box. It looks like the referees, and it looks like what the linesman saying is Austin Palumbo is going to be also going to the box, and now we're going to have our first 4-on-4 action of the day. Grab one by the Sun Devils. Klein's going to utilize a goaltender, trying to use that extra man with it being 4-on-4. Kenneth Miller behind his own net. Jet Larson, the touch pass to Klein out of their own zone. Klein trying to go through 3 Sooners, unable to. Retrieves his own puck in the corner. Takes a hit, he walks out with it. Trying to pull the trigger, and looks like the back referee sees a call, and he'll see a hooking call. So now a rare 4-on-3 opportunity for the Sun Devils.
As the great Doc Cooper once said, the rarely seen but dreaded 4-on-3. Pardon me, I believe he said infrequently seen. We have to have the appropriate jargon tonight, Brett.
Now, how do you think the Arizona State's going to try to attack this 4-on-3 opportunity?
Well, there's going to be a lot of open ice, and that's going to mean open passing lanes. So if you can get the wingers in the right spots, hopefully get a couple one-timer opportunities, I think that's going to be the place for them to attack the goaltending. And even looking for rebounds, because we saw it last night. There were some juicy rebounds being led up by Oklahoma that they weren't clearing out in front of the net. And I think that's where ASU can set up and get their bread and butter going.
Jared Larson trying to get through, and a chopped puck away by Isaac Boss forces the Sun Devils to have to re-enter. Healy, touch passing with Jet Larson. Healy slowing the puck down. Up to the point is Bradley Budman. Budman walking the line, and he'll put it in the area for Klein. Klein wheels it around. Seniors are trying to be aggressive on this penalty kill, but can't get the puck out. Budman looking for that touch pass, and that'll get intercepted by Trevor Finch. Digging forward, the puck comes out to the neutral zone. Jet Larson with speed trying to re-enter again. Larson fakes a shot. Now he does, and the shot squirts through into the corner. Budman over to Klein. One touch passing again by the Sun Devils. Healy down low, calling for it, trying to put that cross crease pass through, and that gets blocked by Boss, and the Sooners will go for a change.
A little hesitant Geely was to make a decision on that, whether to shoot or pass. Ended up choosing neither as he kind of passed it right into the goaltender's pads, and when nothing was left, a chance goes begging.
York gets the puck turned over. Clayton Brown's going to try to force the issue for the Seniors on this penalty kill, as we have both coincidental minors about to expire, and it'll be a 5-on-4 power play for the Sun Devils for about 20 seconds. York on the far side to Sullivan. Sullivan, a backhand shot, scores right out in front of Hoffenkamp, and Babb had to hug the post and freeze it with 17 seconds left on this power play.
Surprising, we've only seen 5 total shots up to this point, especially with open ice, a lot of back and forth play, especially tilted in the Sooners' favor. You can see both teams trying to keep it as close to the vest as they can while still trying to generate a little bit of offense.
Draw one by Charles Jolly. Sooners trying to rim the puck, kept in by the defenseman Kowalchuk. Kowalchuk trying to look for that redirection from Holston in front, and the tip goes missing. Picked off at the blue line. Scott Joy for the Sooners enters in onside, gets his shot blocked by York. Sooners are out now. We're back to 5-on-5 hockey. York turns it over in front. Jolly Ends up electing to keep possession and takes it out to the neutral zone. Colin Murkowski retrieving his own puck, unable to. Klein with his head up. D-to-D pass with Kowalczyk. Kowalczyk a soft chip, trying to find Studioso, gets intercepted. The Sooners could be on a 3-on-1. Joy in front. Joy with the saucer pass, and it gets blocked by a sprawling Zachary Kowalczyk. Studioso has to hurry and make a decision. He does and buys time as both the Sooners and Sun Devils go for a change. Geely didn't see Holston going for a change, and he turns it over. Zachary Pard on his backhand. Opens up for that shot, and that'll go through the crease. Boss pinching in for the Sooners. Pard getting pinched down low. Gets it right back from Beam. Backhand no-look pass intercepted by Klein. Studioso rides Pard into the boards as the rugby scrum is behind the Arizona State net. Aaron pass from Kowalczyk. It's another turnover. And the whistle is blown down as it looked like to be the netting again coming off for Arizona State.
And Kowalczyk got himself out of a bit of a tight spot with a good block on that 3-on-1, alleviating Bronson Moore of having to make any sort of desperation save. But the Sun Devils lacking some communication and poise, poor breakouts on their part, are allowing the Sooners to string some offensive zone time together. That's going to spell bad news for the Sun Devils.
Point shot on from Giamona, and Moore is able to fight through the traffic and see it. Klein kicks it up to his stick. Trying to toe drag around, and he gets that stripped away by Finch. Harrell couldn't get that in deep for Arizona State. Pard enters in the offensive zone. Gets around Wiggins. Pard with that shot on, and his shot gets deflected up into the netting by Studioso. 10 minutes in this first period. It's a 1-0 Oklahoma lead. We thank you so much for tuning in tonight to Arizona State Hockey YouTube, and make sure to hit the subscribe button in order to not miss any future games. D'Souza and Hurl in the circle to the left of Moore. Draw one by D'Souza. Giamona walking in line. He ends up blowing a tire. Both an athletic play, able to keep the puck in and not allow Wiggins a breakaway opportunity. D'Souza works it down low with Del Cassell. A one-timer from Giamona. His shot is blocked by Callahan. Callahan. Headman past Eric Cotton with speed. Wiggins cutting through the middle, trying to go around Giamona, and Giamona does a fantastic job not allowing him to get to the front of the net, and the net will come off and we'll have a stoppage. Get another tight affair. The shot clock right now in the middle of the first period. Dead even almost at 5 shots for the Sooners and 4 for Arizona State. Babs rearranging his mask. And now we'll allow play to resume. Holston wins the draw. Miller barely keeps it in. Trying to pull that trigger is Sullivan, as he was just fainting on the puck, as the puck's really rolling tonight in this first period. Both teams fighting for it. Del Cassell with a soft chip. Raymond Wilson's able to get that to the neutral zone and allow the Sooners to clear their lines with 9:09 in the first period. Brown plays it back in deep for Moran. That'll come to Pissar. Pissar, a saucer pass to Del Cassell. He'll gain the red. And Pissar tries to retrieve the puck. DDD pass, Kenneth Miller. With speed, Palumbo is trying to communicate with Elizadeh. Elizadeh finally picks it up, but couldn't get in deep, and it gets intercepted. Sooners regrouping again, trying to come in the zone with speed. Kowalczyk keeps the Sooners out of the offensive zone. Isaac Boss finally forces the issue. Puck almost out in front as it's almost taken away. The Sun Devils have to be very careful in their own defensive end. A handful of times already in this first period, pucks have been just sitting in front of the crease of Bronson Moore in the defensive zone. Trying to pull the trigger, Lane couldn't get it as it wasn't in his wheelhouse. He ended up not able to getting the shot off. Kowalczyk pins Lane. Lane comes out with it. Centers right in front. And Passar had that pass in his skates, and he couldn't pull the trigger as well. Lara trying to look up. He'll play it up to Lane. Lane with that shot on. That's blocked by the shin pad of Kowalchuk. Sooners having a good sustained zone time. Boss couldn't get that cross area pass. Palumbo intercept for the Sun Devils, but he gets it stripped away by Lara. Lara right in front. Moore makes the save on the redirection. Palumbo has to chip that all the way down, and it'll go all the way down for an icing, allow the Sun Devils to try to go have a little breather. 7:29 in this first period. It's a 1-0 Sooners lead. Sun Devils only were able to get Jet Larson out there. He's the only fresh guy for the Sun Devils. Draw one, Joy with a weak shot on, and Moore's able to cover up his own rebound. Again, the set plays, we saw it on Friday with Central Oklahoma, and now with the Sooners of trying to operate, and it looks like depending on what side of the ice it's going to be the man coming off on his offside and trying to get a quick wrist shot on. Brown gets the puck up to White. White will dump it back in. Chopping the puck at it was York. Giamona missed the puck on the pinch. Klein trying to get through, and that puck's not going to settle down for him. Studioso absorbs a check of Joy. Runs it back around. Looks like there's a delayed penalty on the Sooners as Moore's trying to get to the bench. Studioso plays it. Bab's going to come out and touch it because he knew the play would be called dead because there's a Sooners penalty.
And Brett, I'm going to let all of our viewers in on a little bit of a secret here from when we were talking beforehand to the coaching staff for Arizona State before the game started. And I'm paraphrasing here from the great coaching staff that could possibly grace the cover of a GQ magazine one day. And they said, we're going to really skate harder than the other team, in not so many words, if you catch my drift. And we have not seen that materialize tonight, but there's a good opportunity on this power play for Arizona State to do exactly that.
It's going to end up being a penalty, 2-minute minor for slashing for Scott Joy for the Sooners. Sun Devils are going to have their second power play opportunity of the night. Geely kicks it out to Budman. Budman gains a blue, and he'll stop right there. Studioso gets it, D-to-D pass. Budman tries to open up for that shot on, and Babb was able to track the puck with his glove, and we'll have a stoppage in play.
Good save by Babb, and a good shot by Arizona State. You like to see them get out and get shots early. It puts the defenseman on their heels, and all you need is that second or third chance opportunity and to collect it and pot it home. We saw Levi Holson do it multiple times last night.
Finds in the draw for Arizona State. He'll be able to get control of the puck up to the point. Studioso slides over to Budman. Budman couldn't pull the trigger on the one-timer. He has to collect the puck. And a shot on as that was tipped in front of the slot by Geely, and that'll miss the net. Geely cutting up the ice, throws it down in the corner for Holston. Up to the point. Studioso far side. A one-timer shot, and that's blocked in front by Giamona. Sun Devils were trying to work that one-timer play to Budman, and they were finally able to pull it off, but to no avail. Klein gets that puck poked away by Pard, and Oklahoma will go for a semi-change, getting a couple guys out. 45 seconds left on the man advantage. A turnover. Luke White is able to clear it all the way down, and Moore's going to have to settle it down. Studioso with speed finds Jet Larson, and he'll dump the puck and go after it. Hoffenkamp there in the forecheck as well. Lazarik's trying to kick it up to his stick, but he gets it turned over by Sullivan. Sullivan wheels it around, and he gives it right back to the Sooners player Finch, but he can only clear it to the neutral. With speed, the Sun Devils come in again. Hoffenkamp couldn't get the puck out of his skates. Now to Jet Larson. Larson with a short angle shot on. And we're going to have a stoppage in play. Looks like it might have been another part of the net coming off, this time on the Sooners' end.
With only 4 seconds left on the power play that's going to expire very soon here for the Sooners, it's going to be important for Arizona State to have some communication. You heard it a little bit throughout that last power play sequence. The bench was really talking to the boys out on the ice, telling them to keep talking to each other, letting everybody know where they are. That's going to be key to make sure they don't get caught on a Hail Mary pass behind the defenseman.
Sooners win the draw. Lazaric has that puck pop out into the neutral zone, and now that man, Joy, coming out of the box with speed. Finch trying to give him the pass, and that'll miss behind. York backhands one up to Wiggins. Wiggins evades the check from Brown and ends up turning it over. Scott Joy, fresh out of the box on the right side. Joy, and he gets that puck chopped away by Eric Cotton on the back check. Cycling in front, Raymond Wilson now for the Sooners. Short angle shot. That'll miss and go through the crease. Cotton controls the puck, heads mans it to Wiggins. That allows Arizona State to go for a quick change. Wiggins with that easy shot on, and Babs able to cover that. Holston and Clayton Brown on the draw. Draw one by Holston. Sullivan able to play that back down as he went to the ground. Centered in front by Holston. And it looks like we're going to have the net coming off again, but it was determined that it was an Arizona State player doing it this time, and the faceoff's going to be outside.
And Brett, I just have to wonder, they've got the nice goals out tonight that the NCAA team normally is reserved for using only. And these are coming off the moorings pretty easy. You don't see that too often at NCAA level. I wonder if they must be switching out the pegs in the bottom of the goals just for player safety reasons. You know, the ACHA likes to take player safety very seriously.
Studioso trying to get that puck to settle down. Demon will try to rim it around. Bab will stop it behind his net. Sooners have to negotiate the forecheck of the Sun Devils. They're able to. Aaron Lara couldn't handle the puck, and he'll try to circle back in his own end with speed. Lara flips it up in the air. Ends up taking a wicked hop. Doesn't end up touching Bronson Moore, and because of that and Lara not getting the red line, it's going to end up being an icing, as the head coach, Josh Burge, is trying to get an explanation from the linesman. After all referees huddled up in front of the Oklahoma bench, it's deemed that it is an icing play, and the draw will be in the Sooners' own end. Flying, trying to kick that puck out. Geely on the back check, couldn't able to corral it. Callahan, and it'll get thrown into the boards hard by Hunter Lane. Lane's trying to center that one in front. Moore's able to find it in his padding. And we'll have a stoppage with 3:27 left.
Usually Budman's on the giving end of those large checks, not the receiving end. A bit of a wake-up call for him. Pardon me, that was Jack Callahan.
Draw one by the Sooners. Giamona's shot gets blocked by Callahan. Another sprawling block by Callahan, that time with his noggin. That allowed the Sun Devils to gain the red line. You can hear the shouting coming from the Arizona State bench, getting that injection of energy from Callahan's block shots. Sooners will go for a wholesale change. Budman plays it up a little too far ahead, and Luke White will try to intercept. And his dump-in ends up hitting the linesman. And now they have to be operating their own end. Coming off the bench, York plays it. Jolly now for the Sooners have a broken play, and another block passing play by Kowalchuk. Centered in front, Jolly trying to go around on the backhand, he's denied. Now up in front to Brown. Brown with a shot, and they score! Brown shot, looks like it got tipped by Joy's shoulder pad and end up being deemed legal, as now Zachary Kowalchuk for the Sun Devils is trying to get an explanation quickly from the referee. as he had a good view of the play, but it looks like the call is going to stand, and it's a 2-0 Sooners lead.
Yeah, not too often you'll be able to talk the referees into changing their minds after the fact. Arizona State's going to attempt to right here as the net looked to clearly be off its mooring. Something we've preached about more than a few times.
Referee's giving the explanation to head coach Tate Green.
And the goal will end up standing, Brett. Tough break for Arizona State.
And now the Sooners have a 2-goal lead as we're nearing the end of the first period with about 2:25 left. Coming up into the press box, as we got to be active here, we got a camera. That's a pretty nice one. I don't have to get a replacement. And luckily, we're both active men. I like to say so ourselves, Niall, and we were ready for that chance.
I like to think so, Brett.
Well, folks at home, you can't say we're not delivering the action to you. Draw one by the Sooners, and now Isaac Voss in the offensive zone, and Moore will snag that, and that'll allow the Sooners to have an offensive zone draw. Beam wins it for the Sooners. Trying to get that shot on, he finally does, is Lazaric, but Moore was able to find that puck with no problem. .2:11 left, it's a 2-0 Sooners lead. Voss fakes the shot. That'll take a couple hops around the net, but won't go towards it. Battling forward in the corner. The chip from Kenneth Miller is going to stop short of an icing call. Eric Cotton chops Voss down. No call. Puck will be flipped up into the neutral zone. Budman's going to retrieve it. Backhands that one to Eric Cotton. A little too hot to handle, though, and the Sun Devils have to go back deep in their own end to get to the puck. Minute 30 left in this first period. Arizona State in their own zone. Cotton wires a pass over to Budman. Miller gains the red line. He'll take the check from Pard, centers it in front, but all four of the other Sun Devils were going for a wholesale change. Zachary Pard through the middle. Nice move, trying to get around the defenseman Studioso, and that time Wilson trying to get that rebound, but Moore made the save. Now Arizona State going down the other way. Puck gets rimmed out of the reach of Gavin Klein, and the Sun Devils are going to have to retrieve the puck back. Sooners throw it in deep, and now just about 50 seconds left in this first period as it's winding down here at Oceanside Ice Arena. Cross ice pass, Studioso will elect the soft chip down low. D'Souza is able to throw it back out, not allow the Arizona State to have a forecheck. Wilson wires up a clap on, rebounded from Moore, making another save. Oh, and a driving save again! Oh boy! A reaction save you only see in the NHL video game. And the puck stays out courtesy of Bronson Moore. Almost another rebound opportunity for the Sooners to try to get a 3-goal lead just before the end of the first period. And Bronson Moore showing off that athletic prowess.
What a save. That's a huge save. We'll have to mark that down if this game gets closer in the later periods.
Giamona shot, and that ramps up off the stick from Aiden Sullivan into the netting.
And partner, those are the saves we've been used to seeing this so far this season from Bronson Moore, the number one tendy for Arizona State the majority of this season. Really has been unchallenged until last night. A great performance on Friday night from Joshua George.
Demons with the extra efforts able to get that puck out into the neutral zone. The period is winding down, about 10 seconds left. Kowalchuk headmans it to Demon, maybe an offensive chance if he can hurry. Demon shot will miss wide. Sullivan trying to reach out to the puck, unable to. Del Cassell now controls in his own zone. And that'll be the end of this first period. And it's a 2-0 lead for the Oklahoma Sooners. And now we're talking to you earlier in the pregame of how important it'd be to get off to a good, fast start. And for the Sooners, they've done just that.
Yeah, Sooners, they got off to a very quick start. And then we didn't see a lot from them for the rest of that period. They really kind of slowed down, kept it at their own pace, controlled possession. If they didn't have something, they weren't going to force it. They didn't want to give up anything easy to the Sun Devils. And they managed to parlay that later into a second opportunity and really limited the Sun Devils to few and far between on terms of their good chances. They had 8 shots, but not a lot of those were great chances.
And for Arizona State, it looked like they were hustling, but they really weren't hustling in the correct areas.
No, we talked about before the game, when we were going through our pregame notes, that we wanted to see them really skate and take it to Oklahoma. You know, they're a tired group, they're a big group, they're injured, and we hope to see a little bit more at Arizona State. The first was very lacking. I'm sure they'll bring a better effort in the next period, though.
Folks, stand pat. In about 15 minutes, we'll bring you second period action live from Oceanside Ice Arena in Tempe, Arizona, as the Oklahoma Sooners have the 2-0 advantage against the Sun Devils. This is Arizona State Hockey YouTube. Welcome back, everybody, to Arizona State Hockey YouTube's presentation of ACHA Division I men's ice hockey. As the Oklahoma Sooners start out this second period with a 2-0 lead against the Arizona State Sun Devils, I'm Brett Vaughn, alongside with my partner Niall Cooper, bringing you all the action tonight. Shots for that period were 15-8 in favor of the visiting Sooners. As the goalies are mucking up their crease a little bit to help prevent them from sliding on the butterfly style from post to post. And we'll have the center zone draw. Won by D'Souza. Lazaric headmans it to Wilson. Wilson hesitating, looking for that pass. A risky pass gets turned over. It could be a 2-on-1 opportunity. Geely on front to Larson. Larson, the shot on! And Babs, big first save of the game. And now it looks like he might have took that in the groin area as he's laboring a little bit.
Yeah, Brett, and funny, that's almost the exact same start that Oklahoma had the previous period, where they're able to get possession early out of that first face-off and get down the ice on an odd man rush and get a good scoring opportunity. Arizona State mimicking that, unable to get the same quality finish, though, as Geely and Jet Larson were just a little too close together. They couldn't spread out far enough to force the goaltender to have to move east to west in his crease. And as you mentioned, the goalie a little laboring getting up from that as he's trying to collect himself in the net right now. But like any true hockey player, he looks ready to go.
Early offensive zone draw for the Sun Devils, won by Beam for the Sooners. Wheeling around in his own zone, Lazaric. Backhands on one out of the reach of two Sooner players. Klein couldn't handle that pass, but icing's waved off. Lazaric reverses it to White. White trying to get the redirection from Finch as he's still trying to maraud out of his own zone. He's able to. White moves it out to Finch. Finch down in the corner. Budman meets him there. Soft backhand pass. Jet Larson couldn't get the puck out. He blocks that shot from Finch. Sooners now in the neutral zone trying to regroup. Beam gets around. Budman has to deal with York now. Finch throws it back down and it gets through to Beam. Beam. Cycling again, Oklahoma, as they did for that second goal, trying to replicate it again in the offensive zone. Pard down low, trying to center it all the way up to the defenseman Cameron Brown, and he was unable to control that pass. And the Sooners are going to have to regroup. Down the corner, Eric Cotton for Arizona State. A little too late to get there. Kenneth Miller with a hard dump as Arizona State touches up. Pissar. Over to Brown. Brown up to Lane. Lane trying to get there, and Studioso being aggressive, not allowing the pass. Icing waved off by the linesman. Wiggins turns the puck over to Giamona. Giamona, the shot on. That'll be deflected away by Offenkamp. Sooners couldn't keep the puck in. Arizona State will finish the rest of their change. Miller lifts the puck out of the zone. Sooners are going to have to touch up. Studios on his own zone, operates behind his own net. Cameron Brown gives it to his brother, Clayton. Clayton trying to get there. Miller fans on the pass and hurls pass out of the reach of Palumbo, but icing's waved off again. Not too many whistles in this second period. Giamona by himself. Giamona, the wrist shot on. Blocked away by Kowalczyk. Puck still loose. Giamona throws his body weight all into Miller and locks him down. Couldn't be kept in by the kneeling Lazaric at the blue line. Oklahoma again is going to have to touch up and finish off a change. Aaron pass turned over. Lazaric at the point. Plays it down to Jolly. Jolly across for Wilson, looking for the redirection from Joy. If it was able to connect, it could have been a good opportunity. Palumbo on his forehand. Just gets it over to the goaltender, Babb, and he's not going to elect to freeze it. And the high chip that time from Boss is a little too high, and it goes off the netting in a stoppage in play.
And a good presence of mind from the goaltender, Babs, to take that one down and hand it off to his defenseman, Bossy. As he hasn't had to see too much rubber this period outside of that one shot that came in early. Arizona State with a lot of one-and-done chances. Nothing sustained, though.
Boss rims it up the strong side. Kept in by Kowalchuk. Klein trying to pull the trigger. That puck just bouncing around a little too much for him. Comes back around over again to Boss's side. Healy trying to get that puck off the wall. Klein up in front. Oh, and a shot on it. They score! Looks like Jet Larson was operating right in the high slot area. Number 16 on his jersey, just like Brett Hull. Gets to pull the trigger, and the rebound is put in by Gavin Klein. And the Sun Devils are now within 1, 2-1.
And Brett, he's really feeling it. Gavin Klein, we saw him lighting it up last night with that huge goal in the third period, and he gets one right now to narrow it down 2-1 against Oklahoma. We said Arizona State would come out hotter, and boy did they. We've got ourselves a hockey game.
And again, talking with head coach Jake Green, it's going to have to be dirty goals from the Sun Devil Hockey Club in order to persevere and get some W's in the win column, and that was just another example of it.
Yeah, some good hard work by Arizona State. They took advantage of that offensive zone draw. We've seen them get a lot of good opportunities when the momentum seemed to be going the other way. They hadn't been able to capitalize on anything up until that point.
Turnover for the Sooners. Parr jumping right on it. Rebound in front from Moore. And it'll be cleared away by Sullivan. No icing on the play as White was deemed able to try and go and get it. Was unable to, though. He'll now skate out of his own zone. Plays it out to Finch on the right side. Gets it right back from Finch, but just couldn't handle the pass. Cycle back down. Zachary Pard trying to look. Tight turnaround, trying to get around New York. Still behind the net. Beam cycles it back down again to Pard. Pard trying to step out with it. Sticked away by Holston, the centerman. Holston trying to use that big 6'4" frame. Gets thrown down, and Moore stands up tall and blockers that up into the netting, and we'll have a stoppage.
And Brett, I was just going to mention we're at a big turning point. The game hangs in the balance. Arizona State getting a foot in the door. The question is, can they get through that door and step into this game and really start competing? We saw Oklahoma answer back with a chance of their own, and Bronson Moore standing tall. Sometimes it's not how many saves you make if you're the goaltender, but when you can make that one key save, and that was an absolutely key save from Moore.
The high chip from Studiosa doesn't go all the way down, and icing negated. Giamona is going to have to hurry up on his own end. He reverses it to Cameron Brown. Sun Devils have to touch up on the delayed offside. Sooners are going to try it again to get out of their own zone. Finally, he gets thrown in by Aaron Lara. Miller staples Passar, but it's turned over still. Point shot from Giamona misses wide. Centered out in front. Jet Larson couldn't intercept the pass. Klein skating it. Lays it off to Kenneth Miller. Giamona, great athletic play to keep it in. Now, over to Lara. Right in front on the rebound. As Moore looked like to be out of his crease, but no Sooners players were able to put home the rebound. On the half wall with speed, Jet Larson on the right side. He can beat a tired Giamona if he hurries. Point shot on, and it's a little too high, and it's up into the netting. As it looked like he was electing to go short side high, Jet Larson was, and was just unable to get that one in.
And you like to see the competition there from Arizona State and Jet Larson. He had a great chance last night in overtime. Very similar. He used that speed you mentioned to get in behind the defense. Almost pulled it off there as well. And we know Arizona State, they're not going to bully the Sooners tonight. That's certainly not how they're going to play tonight. But they can use their speed and outwork the Sooners.
Ozaric over to his partner, Boss. Boss feeling the pressure. Kowalchuk steps up, unable to keep the puck in. Jack Callahan trying to find Wiggins. That gets intercepted by Jolly. Jolly now for the Sooners. On the right side, Jolly protecting the puck, but he ends up meeting Kowalczyk right behind the net and loses control of it. Boss trying to pull the trigger. That gets stripped away by Cotton. Cotton through the middle. Drops it to Wiggins. Wiggins with some space. The shot on the snapshot, and that'll miss and hit the glass high. Arizona State's forward groups tries to go for a change. Looks like it's going to be a delayed penalty, though, against the Sun Devils. As the goaltender, Babs heading to the bench for the extra man. Jolly trying to get that puck off the wall, and it's finally touched up by Kowalczyk. And the Sun Devils have a penalty.
Yeah, Brett, not sure what the call was. We saw the defenseman for the Sooners go down in the corner.
So it looks like it's going to be, the penalty is going to be awarded to Eric Cotton of the Sun Devils. Oklahoma now, one of their first opportunities of the game on the main advantage. Giamona walking the line over to White. White gets that snapshot on. D'Souza couldn't get a tip on it in front. Puck still loose. Curl gets thrown into the boards. Studioso's clear just gets out as White couldn't glove it down.
Quick breather for Arizona State.
Dumped in again. Zachary Pard, the first one for the Sooners, getting help from his linemate, D'Souza. D'Souza, backhand pass, cross ice. Giamona slowly handling the puck. White gets that shot through again, and that'll miss wide. Beam trying to get that redirection. We saw a couple goals from Beam last night right in front trying to get that deflection. Beam gets it again. Takes the check from Budman. Tight turn, goes up the wall. Beam using his big body to protect the puck. Giamona backs down to D'Souza. Sooners rotating again. White trying to look through. Goes down low with Beam. Less than a minute on this man advantage opportunity for the Sooners. A little lethargic out there, just keeping the puck to the outside. Not too much movement for them right now. Kowalczyk hustling and trying to clear the puck out, but just couldn't get a stick on it. He finally intercepts the pass and will slide it over to Jet Larson, but they turn it over in the neutral zone, and Arizona State can't go for a change. Giamona looking for the redirection shot, and Kowalczyk lifts the stick of Lara, and he's unable to get the tip. Under 30 seconds now. D'Souza walking up the wall. Backhands it over to Lane as Oklahoma is trying to complete a change for the second power play unit. And the pass is out of the reach, an errant pass by Lara. And that'll allow the Sun Devils to go for a wholesale. Stretch pass. Brown couldn't connect as Kowalczyk read the pass, and we're going to have to re-enter in the zone again. Passar backhand shot on, and that'll miss weakly wide. Passar gets it right back. Holston trying to pin him. Lara gets hit in the back by Kowalczyk. Sullivan unable to get the puck out. Puck takes a nice bounce to the Sooners. Trying to center it in front, and Brown's shot, again, that's blocked by Kowalczyk. A couple key defensive plays during this penalty kill, and now we're back to 5-on-5 hockey.
It might be 5-on-5, but Arizona State still really on their heels. Sooners have all the momentum.
Lara coughs the puck up to Miller. Holston, a one-touch passing the neutral zone. Sullivan ends up getting stood up at the line by Lazaric. Cameron Brown on his forehand. Trying to deke around Miller, unable to. Plays it back down around. Gets it back on his backhand side. Again, the Sooners trying to establish the cycle. Over to his brother Clayton Brown. Brown centers that in front. Out of the reach of Scott Joy. Demon has a free entry out of the own zone. Trying to get that in deep. Took a weird hop. Ends up bumping into his own player. And the Sun Devils go offside.
I love to see a physical presence, Brett, but not exactly the friendly fire you want to see. Although at this point, you take anything if you're Arizona State. They're really struggling after the Sooners were able to take advantage of Arizona State not taking advantage of the momentum they held after scoring that goal to narrow the lead. It's been all Oklahoma since. A big opportunity for Arizona State to get back in the game.
Sooners now are able to break it out. Aaron pass, missing Joy, the winger. Hoffenkamp evades the check and goes for a soft dump in the offensive zone. Babb, using his great stick handling prowess, able to get that puck all the way out into the neutral zone. 9:20 in the second period. The Sun Devils ended up scoring earlier in this period to make it a 2-1 hockey game. Turned around. Joy trying to handle a puck, and an Aaron pass falls to Joy. Joy with the shot on, a little high. It was Hoffenkamp on the back check, able to get a diving tip on it, and a defensive game saver there.
Great effort by Timothy Hoffenkamp. Right now, opportunity beckons to both teams. The question is, who's going to answer the call?
Got one by the Sooners. Giamona, quick wrister on. Moore finds it. Back up to the point again. Sooners really working the point, trying to spread that zone in the offensive side of things. D'Souza intercepts the rim pass. Back down low. Del Casel and Souza below the goal line. Giamona, quick wrist shot on. That'll miss. Callahan trying to hustle to that, get that puck out. Del Casel is able to keep it in. And Moore will freeze it and have a little bit of a stoppage in the Arizona State zone.
And Brett, it's been all Oklahoma all the time in the second period. We've seen a lot from two guys in particular. Giamona stepping in from the point, generating some offense, the Long Beach native, and then the big-bodied Michael Beam, 6'3", 230 out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. He's been using all of that weight and size down low to dominate the boards and do the meat and potatoes work for Oklahoma, and it's paying dividends, as you can see.
Smushing up against the boards. The Studioso comes up to the point again. Giamona with the wrist shot from the point. Callahan kneeling down to block it. Sun Devils trying to get in the offensive zone. And that puck just couldn't settle down for Jake Ely, and they go offside. Really interesting again now, you pointed out, once the Sun Devils got that first goal of theirs this game, it seems Oklahoma has really put their gas on the foot pedal.
They certainly have. It's floor to the floorboard right now.
Kicked in. Looks like the defenseman goes down Lazaric as he caught an edge on the Oceanside ice. Beam and Part have a little miscommunication. The puck's stuck in the neutral zone. Will be thrown in by Finch. Miller looking, elects to just throw it into the neutral zone. Elizade chopping at it, unable to get it. Lazaric eats the check from Palumbo. Part going in. Physicality is starting to pick up a little bit in this game. Run back around, intercepted by Cameron Brown. Brown leaves it, but it's picked off by Palumbo for the Sun Devils. Elizade trying to strip the puck off of Pard. Pard able to keep it. And with the great hustle by Pard, he rides the forecheck of Elizade, and he ends up drawing a penalty on Elizade for the Sun Devils, and the Sooners go back on the power play.
Brett, I know you've seen this movie. It's one of my personal favorites. Miracle on Ice, the great part biography on the 1980 comeback win by the United States of America. And Herb Brooks, one of my favorite quotes he had in that movie was, "You're not good enough to win on talent alone," as he alluded to his players that they needed to outwork the opponents no matter who was in front of them. And I think that's a great message at its core that Arizona State really needs to take to heart and apply the rest of this game. They need to outwork the Sooners. They can't rely on the few chances they've been able to generate.
Sooners operating. Clayton Brown tries to center that in front, and that's taken away by Klein. Jed Larson trying to hustle down, intercept the pass, he's unable to. Sooners entering back in. Scott Joy senses some pressure, and he'll rim it around to the other side. Up to the point, Boss. Aaron pass for Giamona, so Giamona's going to have to go in a little deeper in the offensive zone. Cycling, Joy centers it in front, and the seam pass was almost there, out of the reach of Michael Beam. Brown across. Giamona fans on the shot as a puck rolled up on him. Kept in, though, by the Sooners. Joy gets thrown down by Budman. Budman is able to clear with some hard work in the corner and allow for a few of the Sun Devils to make a change. Just a minute has gone by in this man advantage for the Sooners. Behind his net, Moore plays with it. He rims it around to Hurl. Hurl gets it in deep, and that'll allow Budman to finish off the change for the Sun Devils. Pard bobbing and waving up the ice. Now with the puck on his forehand. Budden hooks around. Hard rim out of the reach of Beam. Finds the Susan on the other side. Beam in Gretzky's office up to the point. White coming in the wrist shot on. Took a couple different hops. Hurl couldn't clear for the Sun Devils. White, wrist shot on. And it's gobbled up by Moore, and that'll allow for a change in the Arizona State zone with 16 seconds left for the Sooners on the power play.
The coaching staff for the Sun Devils not particularly happy with the effort being put forth on this penalty kill. You can hear head coach Tate Green along with the assistants Jim Nellis and Chad Bailey really giving it to the team, trying to get a fire lit underneath them. As you can see, they're not really moving their feet, the Sun Devils are out there. It's Oklahoma that's winning the battles, and especially when you're a man up like the Sooners are, you're not going to have to work as hard. That means Arizona State needs to pick it up.
Comes right in front of Moore, really aggressive, and is able to cut the angle down on Pard as that puck fell right to him in the high slot. White at the point, wrist shot on, and Pard's unable to deflect that puck. Cotton comes out of the box for the Sun Devils, and we're back to even strength hockey. Oklahoma still attacking. Pard on the backhand pass. Beam couldn't get all of it. Ends up fading on the shot, and that'll be thrown all the way down. And those tire penalty killers are still stuck out there for Arizona State.
And Brett, you mentioned the penalty's over. Elizadeh's back off. That allowed one fresh skater on the ice for Arizona State. Still, the other four skaters very tired. Second period, as all well-versed hockey fans know when they check their hockey dictionary every night and go to bed, that second period means a long change, which in turn means Arizona State needs to get the puck deep in the offensive zone of Oklahoma in order to get a change and get fresh troops out, or they're going to be in trouble.
Holston wins the draw for the Sun Devils. Bringing back around, Moran's able to keep it in. Hoffenkamp couldn't handle the puck. Moran steps up and throws it in deep. Moore out of his net, lucky to get that puck not to be turned over. Now it finally is by one of his defensemen. Lara right in front on the shot, as it was Hunter Lane, right in front on the neutral zone, and he just couldn't put away. I think it was blocked by a Sun Devil defenseman. It looked like a kick save, Miller is saying to goalie Moore.
And luckily, as that net came off, that allows Arizona State to get a much-needed change. Oklahoma with the same line out there. Inside of 5 minutes, it's Arizona State's chance to get themselves back in the game.
Digging for it, Studioso gives the cold shoulder to Lara. Geely absorbs a check, and Arizona State, a little too sloppy, come out of their own end by the pass from Jet Larson. Forfeits possession. Brown, cross corner dump. Sooners again on the attack. Turned over, Moran throws it down in deep. Puck sits up there for Studioso, trying to clear it off, and it goes off the netting. You definitely sense the way this period has been going, especially the last half. Arizona State has to be lucky with not conceding a goal, but if this keeps going up, you can imagine the Sooners at least cashing in on one opportunity before the end of this period.
Certainly, and the way things are going right now, Arizona State's averaging 15 shots conceded against each period. And if you keep that up for all the math majors at home, that's 45 shots against. That is not a recipe for success.
Sun Devils a little sloppy again, trying to come out of their own zone. Puck goes up into the Oklahoma bench and out of play. D'Souza wins the draw for Oklahoma. Hard rim by White is stopped behind the net by Moore. Budman takes the check from Wilson, and Wilson a little too grabby, allows for a delayed penalty call. Hoffenkamp coming in though. Hoffenkamp on the backhand side, and he couldn't get all of that shot as the puck was rolling up on him and ends up getting touched by the Sooners. And now Arizona State on the power play trying to tie this hockey game.
As Wiggins gets himself back on his feet. We're going to get to see something that I didn't think we'd have a chance to see the way that this period was going as it was. But a Sun Devil power play, Brett, reminiscent of last night when the Sun Devils got a power play late in the second period and were able to get a goal from Levi Holston in front of the net. And that turned the tide in the game ultimately, that forced it into overtime. Levi Holston on the ice once again for the Sun Devils. Watch for him to try to replicate what he was able to do last night.
It's going to be a tripping call to Raymond Wilson, number 81 for the Sooners. Turned over at the blue line in the offensive zone. Brown coming in with speed, trying to center that in front, and Holston on the back check's able to negate joy of the puck. This Arizona State power play opportunity is brought to you by Hungry Howie's flavored crusted pizza. Geely throws it down in the wall. It's intercepted by Luke White. Two Sun Devils jamming at the puck in white skates. Comes out to the Sooners. Giamona, a hard shot off the glass, allows the Sooners to go for a wholesale change. Coming into the zone. Geely can sneak in. He can't pull the trigger, though, as it was Lazaric with a nice tie-up of the stick. Couldn't allow Geely to pull the trigger. Halfway has gone on this man advantage. Couple opportunities for the Sun Devils. Babb plays it over to his defensive partner, Giamona, but Giamona fanned on the shot. Lazaric on the second opportunity. That gets hit by D'Souza. Kept in by the Sun Devils by Studioso. Hoffenkamp up to the point. Studioso walking the line. Over to Kowalczyk. Jet Larson now. Larson trying to center that in front, and Hoffenkamp just couldn't redirect it towards the net. And the Sooners cleared 200 feet. Now coming out with speed out of their own zone is Zachary Kowalczyk, the captain. Kowalczyk gets ridden to the boards by Lazaric. Puck stuck on the half wall on the kick plate. Sullivan's trying to get it out. York now finds it. He centers that in front, but it's turned over to Giamona. And the Sooners are able to get both of their defensive pairings off. And now that Oklahoma has killed the rest of that penalty, and we're back to 5-on-5 hockey with 1:30 in the second period. It's 2-1 Sooners. Cross-corner dump. Colombo trying to get there. He throws White into the boards, and that puck careens up to Babb, and he'll freeze it.
And you can tell on that power play chance that goes without almost even a sniff of a scoring opportunity. Arizona State didn't have the communication. They didn't have the energy or the legs going from the drop of the puck for those 2 minutes. They had the man advantage, and they weren't able to get anything going.
Carroll went to draw. Point shot on from Studioso, sitting right in front. It looked to be Luke White was the only person to find it. Lara trying to get the puck out of his glove. He turns over in the neutral zone. Now the Sun Devils on the attack. Palumbo, wrist shot on, and that's blocked away by Babb. Cycled up in front. Kenneth Miller. Down low. Palumbo gets up to his feet. Tries to center that, but that's intercepted by Lara. Lara by himself. Elects to chip it in. Moore out in his own zone. A D-to-D pass with Miller. Miller, our hard rim. Couldn't get it past by Boss. 40 seconds left. Studioso in his own zone. Hard chip off the glass. They'll end up popping out to Holston. Deming gains the blue line. Holston tries to give it to Miller. Puck still floating in front to the net, and Babb decides to cover it. Essentially, a little bit of the urgency on Arizona State's part near the end of the second period.
Certainly, you think backs up against the wall. You want to see a little bit more, but a 2-1 game, they're not out of it by any means. Not like what we saw last night. They're doing a good job just hanging in there, bending but not breaking defensively. You just like to see a little bit more on the offensive side of things.
Klein and Clayton Brown on the draw. One by Brown. His brother Cameron reverses it over to Markowski. Stepping up is Jake Keeley. Keeley trying to get a handle of that puck. Now on the half wall, Klein trying to walk it out. He's unable to. Kowalczyk gets that quick point shot on. Took a little bit of a hop, but Bab was able to get his body behind it and stop it. Looks like there's some issues with the scoreboard operator as they're trying to get the correct time on. Looks like it's going to be 6 seconds left on the second period. Looks like it's going to be only a quick opportunity to the net for the Sun Devils if able. Klein, point shot trying to come through and it's blocked. Gets ricocheted up in the air and we're going to have a little bit of time left. I think around 3 or 4 seconds left.
Yeah, Brett, this is where you got to dial up your specialty, what they call in football the 2-point play. Something quick off the draw in order to get a scoring chance. Not much time left.
3 Sun Devils right in front of the goaltender, Bab. Klein tries to get that shot on again, and the centerman D'Souza falls on it, and that'll kill the rest of the second period. Sooners for that period were dominating the majority of the play, but it was nice to see the Sun Devils come up and play with a little more tenacity near the end of the second period.
Yeah, it was not what we expected to see in some regards, as the Sun Devils, they're only down a goal, and you'd think we'd have seen a little bit more of an effort, especially after that first period, but you know, the 21 shots I don't think are reflective at all of what we've seen. I think Arizona State has a lot to offer going forward in this game. They just haven't been able to build up the speed. Maybe the third game of a homestand, they're starting to get a little bit tired. It's been a long week. They've played some really quality competition, something I don't think we've mentioned enough. In Central Oklahoma, number 10 ranked, and now 2 games against Oklahoma, number 14 ranked. They're both big, they're both mean, and they both can score. So that's a lot for Arizona State to handle, something that they're figuring out on the fly. And they're not too far off. You know, it's a close game. It's just going to take, you know, something special from a particular individual to put it over the top.
And again, a good thing for this young group with Arizona State, again, no seniors on it, to be able to be in this contending of a game, close hockey game going into the third period with only 20 minutes left. Well, folks, again, we say thank you so much for tuning in tonight to Arizona State Hockey YouTube channel, and we'll be back to bring you third period action in just about under 15 minutes at Oceanside Ice Arena. At the end of 2, it's the Oklahoma Sooners 2, Arizona State 1. This is Arizona State's Hockey YouTube's presentation of ACHA Division I Men's ACHA Ice Hockey. everybody, and welcome back to the last period of the weekend for both the visiting Oklahoma Sooners and the Arizona State Sun Devils as we enter in this third period by the score of 2-1 for the Sooners' advantage. I'm Brett Vaughn alongside my partner, Niall Cooper. As this game is still up for grabs, only with that 1-goal lead for the Sooners. Draw win by D'Souza. Playing with it. Cross-ice pass from York. Geely's trying to handle it. He's able to, but it gets intercepted by the Sooners. Pinch by York allows the Sun Devils to go on the offensive, and he gets it right back, but into the belly of the goaltender, Babb. And now a little pushing and shoving after the whistle. Definitely can't say these two teams aren't playing with any intensity tonight. Again, this third period is brought to you by Kowalchuk Construction Limited. Beam wins a draw. Trying to get rimmed around, takes a weird hop off the stanchion. Sullivan blocks the pass. Babb's able to corral that and freeze it. 19:33 in this third period. Draw's going to be to the left of the goaltender, Babb. Sun Devils did a good job ending that second period off with some momentum that they could take in hopefully into this third. Boss. Trying to move that puck up. Beam's now trying to handle it. He takes it back in their own zone as they try to have a controlled breakout. Up into the air, Finch. Gives it back to Beam. Beam. He'll get hit into by York. Sun Devils go the other way. Sullivan. Soft chip, goes in to retrieve it. He pushes Giamona into the boards. Pard does just enough to get it out now for Beam. Beam on his forehand side, getting sticked by Kowalchuk. Finch tries to create the turnover, unable to. Offenkamp lifts it up to Wiggins. Wiggins. Boss doing a good job trying to keep him out. Played back around, Hoffenkamp for the Sun Devils. Still has the puck, up in his skates. Wiggins trying to get that shot off, but he's unable to. Sooners a little tired as the forward group changes. Eric Cotton now in the zone. Cotton with that shot on. I think that nailed off the crossbar, took a weird hop by Babb. Aaron Lara, miscommunication. Budman jumps on the puck by himself. He'll just have to elect to go for the chip as Arizona State goes for a change.
Good start for Arizona State. They're getting off on the right foot. The sooner they can start going at Oklahoma, the better chance they have of being able to tie this game up.
Budman, indirect pass out of the reach of Hurl. Markowski plays it to Lara. Lara fights to check off on Palumbo now. Lara centers it in front. Intercepted by Sullivan. Pardon me, Callahan. Now comes with Maxwell Elizabeth using his lightning speed. Elizabeth trying to burn the corner. Wheeling down on his backhand side. Wheels it down to Palumbo, but just out of reach of him. Jet Larson up to Palumbo. Palumbo with the pass right in front. Elizabeth on the backhand just had a weak shot at it. Not really testing the keeper back. Passara, cross-ice dump as Sooners change personnel. Jet Larson, lucky as he turned that puck over. Joy, trying to get around. Callahan sticks that. Moran from the point. He'll rim it all the way around, finds the winger, Jolly. Jolly cycles it back down low. Klein's pinned to the boards by Joy. As both Sooner players are digging for it, it'll hop out for Studioso. Studioso's breakout pass gets tipped away by Finch. Morris tries to stop it behind his own net. Puck still not settling down really for both teams. I think the ice is still trying to freeze up a little bit after the Zamboni. Studioso out of his own zone. Eats the check, but gets the puck in. Demon. Tight stop. Up to the point. Studioso couldn't pull a trigger as the pass was right in his skates. Coming up the ice is Raymond Wilson. Wilson hits the brakes. Cross ice pass to Boss. Couldn't handle it. Boss out of the corner, tries to center that in front. Sicked away by Studioso. Giamono with the shot on. The CNI shot almost came through as it ramped up on Moore, and Moore was able to get a stick on it. York up high with Levi Holston. And again, the puck just hopped over his stick. Demon waits and he enters in the zone. And he ends up causing a penalty as it's going to be a tripping call as he got a stick right in the skates and he fell down to the ice.
And Brett, you want to see a better pass earlier in that shift. Demon had the chance to set up Studioso at the point, kind of jammed and put it right into his feet. But a good job. Demon stays with it that shift and ends up outworking the defenseman down low, puts him in a vulnerable position, and he gets a stick stuck in the legs of the Russian. And Arizona State on a power play. This one has a little bit of a better feel than the last power play they were on because they're actually playing good coming into this 2-minute advantage.
Sun Devils with all the opportunities tonight on the power play have not cashed in. Hoffenkamp's going to be in the circle against Finch. With the late change now, it's Jake Ely for the Sun Devils coming in. Cleared away by Lazaric. Moore's going to have to play it, leave it for his defenseman York. Moore elects to play the puck himself, but it's turned over at the blue line. Finch trying to get around Hoffenkamp, unable to, and they collide. Penalties against Evan Del Cassell, the captain for the Sooners. Sun Devils haven't really been able to have any sustained zone pressure on this power play opportunity. Pass a little too hot to handle for York. Finch, cross ice dump. Moore punches it up to Jet Larson. Larson on the right side. Gets around Joy. He also gets around Brown. In the middle of the slot. Tight turn, getting harassed by Joy. Leaves it for Kowalchuk. Kowalchuk up to Larson. He couldn't pull the trigger. Kowalchuk with the diving block keeps the puck in for the Sun Devils. Minute left on this man advantage, and that puck gets deep all the way down to Moore. Sun Devils switch power play units now with some fresh guys on the ice. Studioso enters in, leaves it for Holston. Holston takes a weird hop in front for Sullivan, but Sullivan misses the mark. Sun Devils are going to have to regroup in their own zone.
Well, Brett, I feel like I initiated a bit of a commentator's curse as Arizona State's had next to nothing on this power play. Poor zone entries and a lack of good passing and communication is really hurting them right now.
Out the corner is Klein, up to the point Budman. D2D with Studioso. Budman gets it back, but an errant pass gives it to Giamona, and he's able to clear. Could be a dangerous opportunity. Pard fights the check off from Budman. A little mini breakaway. Shot on! And that's smothered by Moore as Pard, although was trying to, I think, go on the glove side, wasn't able to detect it. And it ends up being a save for Moore. And the penalty is now done for the Sooners. And you could say a little momentum building for the Sooners in that respect, showing off that penalty.
Certainly, and I think that play by Budman, just a bit of a microcosm of that power play as the pass. He was trying to shoulder it off to the short side. The guy had no idea it was coming. The pass didn't go, and then he got beat out by the Oklahoma forward. Poor execution.
Harold tries to get out in front in a broken play, ends up squirting and finding his way to Babb, and he'll smother it with 3:23 in this third period. It's a 2-1 lead for the Sooners.
You know, Brett, they say that good preparation makes execution look easy. Well, right now the Sun Devils are missing the preparation.
Shot from Palumbo as he's trying to whip it around the other side of the net. Pard's there to stop it. Some pressure now in the Sooners' own end as they're trying to deal with it right now. Elizade for the Sun Devils gets beat to the puck by Moran. Beam gains the red line and will go in for the chip. Moore plays it around on his backhand side. Miller stops, Trying to find Kowalchuk out of the reach of him. Eric Cotton comes back for the Sun Devils. Cotton with a high chip. Puck's dribbling around and it's waved off for icing by the linesman. Del Cazell redirects it in again. Sooners try to go to work. Pass intercepted from Budman. But Hoffenkamp, very alert in his own end, is able to pick it off. Hoffenkamp, the Chicago land native, forces Babb to play it. Takes a weird hop up Del Cazell's helmet. And he's finally able to get in, gives it to Wilson. Wilson gets hit by Budman as they both take a spill in the middle of the ice. White. Toe drags around Cotton. Gets around Budman. White still with the puck. White, backhand shot on. Short angle, and Moore was able to save with the shoulder. White. Again, looking up to the point. Del Cazell is filling in for him. Wilson now. Del Cazell tries to get the shot on, blocked by Cotton. 11:40 left in the third period. York looks off the pass. No one to pass to, though, as Arizona State's finishing up a change. Holston chips the puck in, tries to go in and work on Giamona. Holston, puck's caught up in his skates, gets it right back. Demon, who scored a goal last night, trying to get the shot off, sticked away by D'Souza. And another good defensive stick, that time by Lera, allows the Sooners to clear the zone. Sullivan back in on the forecheck for the Sun Devils. Centers that in front, but no Arizona State player there. And Babb will stop it with 11:02 left in this third period.
And Brett, they tell you to teach them when they're young. You don't cry over spilt milk. You know why? Because you can't put it back in the carton. Well, the Sun Devils could easily cry about all the power play opportunities they've let go to the wayside tonight. But that doesn't matter. You hear the bench right now cheering on some of the guys. You like to see this energy. They just need to focus on the 13 and change they have in front of them. 11 minutes and change. And get themselves back into this game and maybe, just maybe, tie it up.
Puck up in the air, and Studioso tries to poke at it. Lazaric in his own zone. Tries to leave it. You have to imagine Arizona State's going to be a little more aggressive on the forecheck, as well as being a little aggressive coming from the blue line from their defensemen. Bassar able to pick it out, give it to Cameron Brown. Brown will chip it in deep. Lara forechecking for the Sooners. Callahan plays it back over to Kowalchuk. Kowalchuk now with the puck. Missing Jet Larson, and they're going to enter in the zone illegally offside. Draw's going to be out in the neutral zone, just outside of the Oklahoma end. Joy picks the puck up from the circle. D-to-D, Miller. Trying to get that cross-ice dump, but ends up being a shot on Babb. But it's still not a bad thing for Arizona State, as they're going to be able to have an offensive zone draw. 10 minutes in this third period, and we say thank you so much to everyone tuning in tonight on Arizona State Hockey YouTube channel. Please make sure to hit that subscribe button to not miss out on any future games. Getting kicked out of the circle is going to be Clayton Brown. Draw one by the Sun Devils, comes to Miller at the point. Miller faking the shot, throws it back down in the corner. Cameron Brown for the Sooners wheels back around. It was picked off. Hoffenkamp trying to handle that puck, and it matriculates down for the Sooners. Kowalchuk's going to have to clear the puck out. Cross ice play, finds Jolly. Jolly trying to look for that set pass. Comes to Brown on the broken play. Brown trying to handle it, gets one shot off. Up to Joy at the point, and he just misses the shot. Puck up high, doesn't hit the ceiling, so we're going to still have a play in the game. Could be a quick 2-on-1 opportunity if the Sooners hurry. Joy stepping a clap bomb shot. Ramps up off the stick of the goaltender Moore and up into the netting. Oklahoma State, you can hear the message coming from head coach Josh Burge of telling them to get the puck deep anytime they can in the neutral zone to just try to pin Arizona State back and really tire out whoever that 5-man unit is out on the ice for them. Point shot on from Boss will miss to the right. Demon can't clear. York, a little too fancy in his own end, gets that puck taken away by Beam. Beam cycles it down to Pard. Pard tries to kick that puck up to his skates. He'll get pinned by York. Holston now in trying to help out his defenseman. And he's able to win the puck for the Sun Devils. York trying to hit the stretch pass on the saucer, just out of the reach of Demon, but he's going to be the first one there and no icing. Demon plays it over to Sullivan, but that'll be poked away by Giamona. Now he'll have control of it in his own zone. Budman takes the intercepted pass and will dump it in. Sullivan all by his lonesome for Arizona State as they complete a change. Cycling back down. Geely over to Klein. Klein couldn't reach that puck as D'Souza is there to intercept. Pard now trying to buy some time in his own end as the Sooners now go for a change. Pass ends up getting blocked by the ribs of Jet Larson. You can see a little bit of disarray in his face. Wilson now with speed for the Sooners. Trying to get through, cutting through the defenseman, unable to as Studioso there stands him up. Wilson has Klein on him. Klein's pinning that puck up against the kick plate. Studioso throws Wilson into the glass. Moran knifes a shot in. Now be controlled by Callahan for Arizona State. Lane finds Wilson again. Wilson on a second opportunity on this shift, trying to get around Studioso, and Studioso with a great defensive read. Haven't had any stoppages in these last few minutes as we're having some end-to-end action. Kowalchuk gets his pass intercepted by D'Souza, and they dump it down. Centerman Palumbo playing in his 100th ACHA game, gives it to Elizade. Elizade going around Moran, stares it in front! And Hurl was backdoor and he just couldn't reach it. Up to the point. Shot from Kowalchuk as Palumbo is trying to kick it up to the net. Brown meets Palumbo on the half wall in the neutral zone. Hurl gets the puck first. Gets it in below the goal line. Elizade with a check as he tries to get Markowski down. Moore rims it around. Hurl can get a handle on it. Markowski puts it right in front and they score! Turnover came up to the blue line. Markowski just getting a shot on. Ends up getting blocked by Kowalchuk. And it's a bounce for the Sooners that they'll love to take. And they restore the 2-goal lead in the third period, 3-1.
And Brett, coming off the ice, Zachary Kowalchuk was extremely angry. He was bubbling red as he knew he had a chance on that last offensive zone possession for Arizona State. There's a good bounce into the slot. Nobody's able to get it. The Sooners come back the other way. I managed to just pick up the garbage on the back post and shovel it in. And the task stands a little bit taller for Arizona State now with 6 minutes exactly left on the clock.
The goal is going to be awarded to Josh Passar, the native from Castle Pines, Colorado, his 6th goal of the season. Sun Devils trying to get geared up on this uphill climb, now down 2 goals late in the third period. Wiggins trying to find the puck. It'll come to his teammate Hoffenkamp. Hoffenkamp getting pinned by Boss. Trying to look for it. Boss spins out of the check from Wiggins. Now wheeling it in his own zone. Pass gets off a skate, but it comes right to Jolly. Jolly backhands it in front, and they score! Scott Joy right in front. As there was a little bit of puck watching by the Arizona State defense, allowed Joy the free opportunity to go 5-hole on Moore, and it's 4-1.
It certainly did, and the Sooners putting this game away right now. As you can see, Bradley Budman right in front of the net. You certainly called a partner, completely puck watching. He just started drifting back to Bronson Moore's left. Meanwhile, Joy separated himself, the left-hander, made his way over in front of Bronson Moore, short side, where he knew he could get the one-time opportunity. And as soon as the pass came to him, he made no mistake. It's 4-1, and this game looks to be almost completely out of reach for the Sun Devils.
Sooners keeping the game plan in this third period of getting pucks deep and forcing Arizona State to make the mistakes. Giamona will pinch in for the Sooners. Pard couldn't keep it in as it hops over his stick. Up in the neutral zone, Sullivan trying to get it to Holston, but that'll be intercepted by Finch. Miller in his own end as the Sooners go into a little bit of a 1-2-2 forecheck, not really trying to be aggressive as they already have that 3-goal advantage. Miller is able to be the first one on the puck. Taken away by D'Souza. Klein trying to step out, but he gets that stripped away by Pard. Moran, indirect pass will find Lara with speed. Lara trying to get around Miller, and Miller throws him down to the ice. Jet Larson with his head up. Cross-ice play to Geely. Lazaric there to meet him. Moran, saucer pass to Lara. Number 39, Aaron Lara. Puck hops up on him as he was trying to cross the blue line. Jet Larson, now for Arizona State the other way. Gains the blue line, but he turns it over there as Passar for the Sooners tries to give the puck to Lara. Moore making a brilliant read, but the Arizona State bench has to have a heads up as that puck went right there.
And we've seen a heck of an effort from the Sooners in this third period. You have to love the effort they've put forward as they knew this game was in their hands and for the taking, and they made no mistake late, getting that insurance marker and then adding one more on just for good measure.
Sooners again just trying to keep that puck pinned in the offensive zone. Kowalczyk's going to chop at it. Puck's rolling on end, and the linesman's going to negate the icing. Palumbo dodges a check from White. Passar's trying to go the other way. Elizade's helping out his line mate, and he gets it in the offensive zone. Wrist shot on, and the rebound from Babb gets cleared away. 2:55 remaining in this third period. It's a 4-1 Sooners lead. York, quick up pass to Palumbo, but he couldn't get it all the way in deep. Wilson, behind the back pass, finds Brown, and the puck is deep again in the Arizona State end. Budman trying to find Palumbo, but a little too high, and it's going to be an icing. .231 left in this third period. Looks like the sand in the hourglass is running out a little too quickly for Arizona State to come back in this one. Draw one by Brown. He's trying to deke around Palumbo. Gets to the front of the net for Joy. Moore's there to answer. Lezade couldn't handle it, but it still comes out to the neutral zone. Unclean breakout from Arizona State, and that ends up hitting the linesman, and we'll have a stoppage in play. .214 in the third period, as we'll have the draw at center ice. In his own zone, Callahan couldn't get it all the way to Wiggins, but he'll be able to come for the puck and come back to it. Wiggins, cross ice to Studioso, dumped in by Studioso. Giamona Trying to sense the pressure, but he turns it over to Cotton. Cotton trying to find off in camp, but he's unable to. Joy sticks it down, but he was still on the other side of the Oklahoma red line, and it ends up being an icing call. Now a minute and about 30 seconds left in this third period, Niall. And Arizona State, unlucky tonight, but you have to give some credit to Oklahoma.
Oh, certainly. You got to give all the credit to Oklahoma, who take their time out here just to make sure they get their X's and O's all set up properly. And Brett, there have been a few guys for Oklahoma that have really stepped up tonight. I don't know about you, I've liked the game of D'Souza. Right from the gate, he was a real pest, and that was something that Arizona State missed tonight in Yager Larson. You could really see the contrast when watching D'Souza every shift, really putting in a great effort.
And definitely for the Sooners, again, a mark of a good team is being able to close out leads. We knew how close of a game it was last night, going all the way to a shootout and entering this third period with only a 1-goal advantage. It shows very much a lot of character on the Sooners side of things. Arizona State trying to at least get maybe 1 goal to make this scoreline look a little prettier. Draw one by Holston, the point shot on. Babs able to fight through the traffic and be able to squeeze the leg pads together. At the circle again. Draws behind Demon, but he's able to reach it. Sullivan. And 3 Sooners are there to jam him into the net. Both players getting a little aggravated near the end of the game. Holston tries to wrap it in front. Babs able to fight him to the post. Beam. Can't get the puck out. Sullivan's going to have to throw it down and allow the Sun Devils to touch up. Holston with the big hit behind the net, and now we have under 60 seconds left in this third period. Kowalchuk pivoting his own zone. Finds Gavin Klein off the bench. Klein trying to navigate his way through. Jet Larson. Larson with a nice play to Larson with the wrist shot on. And he'll miss to the left. Kowalchuk keeps it in. Missing Geely. Stepping up is Miller. Miller with that wrist shot on. That's blocked by Wilson. And we're going to have a tripping call on the Sooners with about 30 seconds left. And heading to the box is going to be number 9, Zachary Pard.
Arizona State gets their line set up. Klein out on the ice, the only man with a goal tonight for the Sun Devils.
Puck gets cleared all the way down. Moore's going to play it. Time's ticking down now, just only 10 seconds left. It's a tip play, so no icing. And that's going to do it here at Oceanside Ice Arena. And for Arizona State, overall in the weekend, they end up going 0 for 3. But again, playing against very tough competition. But although there is some losses that they had this weekend, that there are some good key points of emphasis that they can take with them for the rest of the season. And for Oklahoma, the Sooners end up on the weekend 2-1, losing their game on Thursday night against the University of Arizona Wildcats, but winning in a shootout and closing the door here in this third game at Oceanside Ice Arena. We'll take them to 2-1. Looking up the upcoming schedule brought to you by Southwest Airlines, the official airlines of the ACHA. The Sooners going to be heading down to Fayetteville in Arkansas, taking on the Razorbacks at the end of January. For the Sun Devils, they're going to be again hosting some more home games as the Colorado teams come to town. It's going to be the University of Colorado coming in January 31st, and then Colorado State on the 1st and 2nd of February. As the Arizona State team salutes the home crowd who came to show up tonight at Oceanside. It's always a great sign of sportsmanship, the handshake in hockey. Really tipping the hats off to the other team on how well they've competed this weekend. Folks, as we welcome you inside our Oh Boy Alberto Beef Jerky press box, I'm Brett Vaughn, recapping for tonight's game. As it looked coming out from the jump, Oklahoma really had their wheels moving, especially in that first period. Ended up scoring only 11 seconds into that first period, and now that really set the tone for tonight's game.
It did. I think Oklahoma, they got off on the right foot, and Arizona State never really was able to recover from that. They managed to get it to a 2-1 game, but it's funny because it seemed like last night at 4-2, Sooners advantage, that it seemed like it was a closer game for Arizona State than tonight when it was 2-1. And I think that speaks to the level of play that the Sooners had in their own end. They really shut things down, and they squeezed out the chances for Arizona State. And it was really a lot of one-and-dones. Nothing that was sustained, not a lot of second, third, fourth opportunities. And I think that killer defense that they played really from start to finish is what managed to keep Arizona State from getting almost no good chances.
It was unfortunate for Arizona State because we saw some glimpses of that scoring prowess, especially on the power play that they had last night, especially with Levi Holston, and for some reason we didn't end up seeing it in tonight's game.
Yeah, Levi Holston, he had 2 goals last night. You saw Klein tonight, he did have a goal, and, you know, the goals for Arizona State, they're not coming from, you know, special spots. It's not like we're reinventing the wheel out here. It's usually either a good shot from the middle of the slot or a second opportunity in front of the net with a screen and a point shot. And that's what we saw last night. Tonight, you know, it was a lot of perimeter play, a lot of exterior stuff. You know, and we can pontificate up here about all we want with the way Arizona State's playing around the offensive zone and on the edge, but really it comes down to outworking the other team in front of the net, and they didn't do that tonight.
Well, for Arizona State, again, 0 for 3 on the weekend, but I think there's a lot of good signs, especially what we saw last night against the first game of this 2-game series with Oklahoma, that I think they can take in and use without these rest of the home games that they're going to be having.
Yeah, certainly some positives to take forward. You know, UNLV previous weekend, they lost 7-1 and 4-1. Last night in the shootout, 5-4, arguably could have won it if not for the goaltending of Michael Babb in net for the Sooners. And tonight they were in it up until the end when they just kind of ran out of gas, and the Sooners really took it to them late in the third. But there's a lot of good stuff going forward for Arizona State. Again, you know, if we see that hard work and they keep moving their feet, they're going to have a chance to win a lot of games.
Well, partner, again, thanks. It's always fun being up here in the press box with you. And folks at home, thank you again for tuning in and giving you some alerts on the schedule calendar. We're going to be having our broadcast starting on January 31st as we're going to be hosting the University of Colorado Buffalo. And the broadcast start for that time is 7:55 Arizona Standard Time. I'd like to say thank you so much to everybody who helps make this broadcast possible. I'd like to say thank you to our executive producer, Wilfred Chang, our on-site engineer, Justine Cooper. I'd like to say thank you to our cameraman as well, Francisco Cooper, for tonight. Well, folks, I'm Brett Vaughn alongside my partner, Nal Cooper, reminding you of tonight's final score. The University of Oklahoma Sooners 4, Arizona State 1. We say thank you so much for tuning in tonight and reminding you to smell the roses. Good night, everybody.